We get two people in this morning from the government side. We get Abdulai Bayraytay and also we get Ibrahim Tommy. We can tell you waiting the law say and waiting go happy now. Good morning once more, Mr. Bayraytay.
Thank you very much.
In one of the Vox Populi, people they ask say for why now? And these are the million-dollar questions because we see the last election they all you want them somebody they receive money from the consolidated fund. We already we don't go through the petition and we get for the law we get for Olam. So the law people they believe say they come for certain people. And one man they ask why now?
Thank you, Asma. Dana, a very interesting question. The reason being, una don't ask somebody we bring this issue into the public discourse with Francis Gabidon. And even in, it say it get from the Australian experience where somebody been doing and raise the issue say get New Zealand citizenship. He end up for relinquish that one, they go contest and win back. He said now in members say, oh, you know what? We also get a similar law in Sierra Leone, where fall under section 76, 1A, where indicate say, if somebody voluntarily go take citizenship in other country, is swear the allegiance, and no go qualify under the provision or the qualification would therefore be a member of parliament. So when that issue they come, we don't see various lawyers then, they don't take different positions on this. The why now question is, time don't come for let we get a new parliament. And then now your man say, okay, you know what? This issue when they talk, people then go. And we get lawyers then at this country, we get even a parliament, we get lawyers them, etc. We get civil society activists, they win a lawyer. From 1996, this law be done in the 1991 constitution. So now we na the All People's Congress, when it comes to the award of symbols, now they say, you know what, they don't remind we of a law. Now make them call all the people then we get dual citizenship. Because the dual citizenship, there is a very categorical thing say, where you voluntarily go, because you can bond somebody by virtue of you, the parents being a Sierra Leonean, that person with them born under we not swear allegiance. He can come overnight, he can contest, and even go to parliament. So now you make us okay, law we take this thing, law we not take chance. Now that this thing don't come, law we make sure say we regularize it. Now that make them say, okay, if anybody gets dual citizenship, we naturalized, may it disclose voluntarily, so that they will give opportunity to people and we not get. So the why now? I think say I will just meet them that way then.
So in other words, governments not be know about this law before.
Well, I no go categorically say we don't know. Maybe we know by waiting be done there from 1996. We always get the two dominant political parties then, and you know say we been get a very fierce opposition. Maybe that's just a question of convenience for the democracy. But whilst we do that, since aside section 76 1A, it also dey now with very constitution in section 92, we say if you knowingly or you get an average knowledge of any grounds for say you know, then you go sit down at parliament, then say if the attorney general go na the high court, then go fine you for every day when you sit down at court, a fine will not for exceed 1,000 leones. Which means if you serve for 1 year, if then carry go na court, then fine you guilty, say you be no. But because that reasonability of knowledge, now courts go determine, me go stop that side a little bit. The reason being, they say inside 1 year, now something like 360,000 leones. Now they go find you. So it make a very interesting.
That penalty there. But
exactly.
Look at the role of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Absolutely.
When are the policy we supposed for advice governments and then in the areas they are and a lawyer. So how you go say now he was supposed for advise government on the law una don sit down now tell last minute, na make some people believe say na witch hunt. Wetin na be in hole in all of this? The AG's office.
Asma, let's address this issue about witch hunt. The Constitution not identify individuals for go after them. This is a blanket, and I will be very honest for say, SLPP, APC, they all don't be people and way don't no say, supposedly, and they use them very cautiously, about this section 76(1)(a). And imagine even the opposition, they don't challenge issues in a parliament, but they don't ever touch that side. So this, you know, they target an individual. It's not about that. Now that make we now within we own party, where we they award the symbols. Now we say let us do it. So the issue about the Attorney General, why it not be advised government, it also then at the Constitution, in as much as in at the principle, they even say if they see a member of parliament where not be supposed for they participate and vote, then say now the very Attorney General, now they also go na High Court for go do it. So for we do, and we even get somebody, the CRC, the former chairman, now be Speaker of Parliament. So this is a very interesting thing.
Before we come over to
yes.
Tommy, somebody say like you declare your nationality.
Me no hide my own. My own is very clear. Me, when I go Canada in 1999, I left this country straight for go study. From Sierra Leone, and straight in a campus Laguna University. After my graduation, I've been qualified for let I be a Canadian citizen. I no agree for submit an application until we Tijan Kaba then agree on in 2006. We then agree say somebody can get dual citizenship in Sierra Leone. That very day they way they pass time, now that day they me go I apply for be a Canadian citizen.
So you not to same.
Me not to same, but the good thing about me on to same, Canada recognized dual citizenship. Sierra Leone recognized dual citizenship.
But
If I be for go na parliament,
your office right now where they take money from.
no, it's not applicable to me because me not they aspire for go parliament. So that law they not catch me at all.
But in case in future,
If I want for go, I will get me discretion. I go relinquish me Canadian citizenship. But one thing where Canada agree in then your immigration laws, whilst you now dual citizen, like the defense minister, now Indian man, he get Indian passport, but he's still the defense minister. So right now I even qualify for go contest. Now my constituents in Canada, and if I want to go to parliament, then I so then sets the every country getting your immigration law. Right. So Sierra Leone is the same thing because of 2006. Now that day me end up for be a Canadian citizen.
Well, the bottom line, not to see.
Of course, I know we deny that.
Right. So, continue for the week, Abdulai, the presidential spokesman. We also cancel the executive director for Center for Accountability and the Rule of Law, where he named Ibrahim Tommy. Good morning, one more time. Welcome to the program, Ibrahim.
Good morning, Ahmed. Thanks very much.
For start with, you don't listen to the people who talk to across the city. What do you think, first of all, about the comments and views of the ordinary people?
I mean, and mixed views out there. People say that the law respect the law. People in the question why now, kind of like the government of Salon Bidon, they ignore them provisions there, and then they allow people appoint people as ministers, and then the political parties they don't allow people and we get dual citizenship for contest. So it's a question of why now law respect the law, blah blah blah. So my position is simple. I mean, again, I've said it before, let me say it again. Me think say that are the law, we need to respect them. But I 100% disagree with this law in terms of members of parliament and ministers. For the presidency, I not think so you forget dual citizenship. But I not say any reason why. See how absurd it is. I'm sorry, but that's the only word I can use with respect to this provision. What the totality of the law they say is, Ahmed, if you go born Peking in America, that Peking grew up in America, perhaps never ever can salon. He did it for 40 years. He could come here and contest and be president. without any strong social and economic ties to this country. That's what makes it so absurd. The fact is that when they take voluntary steps, for take a second or third citizenship. Now this law, they basically discriminate against. But as it is now, it is a law, and I've said
discrimination or in type of protect the sovereignty of the country.
I mean, that's the point I'm making. I mean, how you could explain the facts, just because they're born in another country to a Sierra Leonean parent, you now get right for contest for parliament, for serve as minister, and even contest for the presidency.
So the issue
is it's a bit hypocritical. There's an irony there which needs to be addressed. And me speaking for myself, I think we need for amend this law for make sure regardless of whether you get dual citizenship, by the way with 2006 and 2017 amendments, and now really try to expand rights, but we'll get that small clause in the constitution we still they restrict or constrict term, which is why I think it's one for the next parliament for amend, in my opinion, for allows people with dual citizenship for serve as ministers and as members of parliament. But let's be clear, I only say this because I really think we for expand people a right, people a access, then decision for represent then communities, society and common. But there are many other offices, and this is really where I'm getting at, Ahmed. There are many other offices when we think it's very strategic where this law now apply to. For example, you can be the defense minister of this country. You can be the internal affairs minister of this country. You could be the head of the intelligence agency of this country. We all now offices are very strategic to the security of this country, regardless of whether you get dual citizenship or whether you take voluntary steps. So that's really just a add to the absurdity of this particular provision, in my opinion.
The issue now until they change the law, the law not the law. We don't see political parties, governments that kind of don't look with corner eye, they pay attention to ministers, the appointments, they go to parliament, members of parliament. They also, we see former member of parliament where APC asks for come out and say I get dual citizenship, we not be qualified in the first place for go na parliament. Waiting for happen in this case to the people.
Let's look at two ways. Individual responsibility. Let's deal with parliament first, because the constitution is very clear. To a large extent on what they happen. Now, let's look at the individual liability of the parliamentarians. Will be known, and interestingly, some of them now people want to do another term and be known at the time when they go parliament, or be get reason for no. That's what the constitution says. Or get reason for no, say eligible for contest or for sit in parliament or for vote in parliament. The argument is that they had reason to know that they were not eligible. Now they got elected and went to parliament. The law clear, they can't be held individually accountable. So that 1,000 news per day, if you look at, and this is where perhaps you will need guidance, but we get to it called the penalties amendments of specified fines decree of 1993, whether they're applicable to that provision in the constitution. 1,000 leons by this act, now 500,000 leons. So based on this act, it's a question of whether this act, because it talks about all legislation before 1993, and this act cover, whether you can even say because of that fine in the constitution, you can interpret it this way. So for every day whether illegally sit on a parliament, you go multiply 500,000 leons for the number of days. So it's a lot of money if you go by this act. But let's move forward. The point I'm making is they can't be held individually. But here is the problem. The problem is that now the High Court go give that order at the suit of the Attorney General Minister of Justice. If an individual citizen of Sierra Leone want to do that, like I would be really I go one for do that day. If the AG no one for do that day, we're going to forget a fiat from the AG saying yes, go ahead. But if the AG go do that, then the first question. If no one for do that, we go be willing wait at the time. We go really forget any citizen a fiat because me as a taxpayer and as a citizen of this country, I really think for that. But then at one level, the other question a lot of people on they ask is what didn't happen now to all the laws where they make, all the decisions, the agreements, all everything they ratify. Fortunately, I say really fortunately because some things you cannot reverse. For example, I go reverse the National Appropriation Act, the budget. The budget is a law within the pass every year. How can you reverse the budget? So that's why, fortunately, if you look at section 94(2) of the Constitution, it is say all the acts, decisions, blah blah blah, with Parliament meet. You understand? With that possibility done into cannot be inquired into by any court of law. And the only way we could go forget a declaration that everything they do be illegal, now for going a court of law, forget that declaration. Fortunately, I say, the Constitution says you cannot inquire into that. But the Constitution also say you can hold the person individually accountable. Perhaps now the impossibility of reversing some of them decisions.
Now for let people understand. The Constitution say you can hold people.
Yes, the person, yeah.
We don't say there is reason not for sit down.
There no or get reason for no citizen not be supposed to.
Once the Constitution say again the law and the agreements with
or if it pass, a court not can inquire into. And by the way, even if you say the law and pass not get any effect, not to law, it won't have any effect until a court declares as such. And the Constitution is now saying no court can inquire into that sort of thing. So that is, which made me think it's really unfortunate because, let's be honest, we don't eat bokumon in this country when our parliament they approve. How can you reverse that? That's my position. Okay,
so you Bayraytay now. Well, I think the government they try to get a cut-off points now, by way how this law don't come into effect. But we still get ministers we hold our citizenship. We currently they serve as governments now. What you wanna plan for do with the current one and then now with the in service?
I think we get an opportunity here. The timing we are also going into elections, and also.
But they continue for pay them and illegally too.
Yes, they were approved by Parliament. So at the end of the
day, them now they hire and fire them. If this law they really want for do take on, why then then say okay you leave the all or then resign for the for just.
Well, the only simplistic response we will give for the continuity of the state, in which they give the president the right for he appoints ministers and fire. Law we say 80 or 90% of the cabinets, law we say then get dual citizenship. Then you say, okay, I will fire them. Then when you don't fire them, you appoint other one them. Who that they go approve them?
Then be fired a minister of social welfare.
No, I just give you right now, me you know.
For some days, and then they go always regularize them. So you think that for continue for they illegally?
Well, the word illegally, I'm not sure. The reason being, if you go to section, and just they refer you to the very section 92, they say if you knowingly and you get reasonable grounds for say now that's ended. So even
they don't know or not get no reasonable.
I don't know. You know why I will say I don't know? Because you don't agree to me what he say. Now court, the high court now ain't able to determine the thing about knowing or not knowing, because that alone now they the legal arguments in there for car. But I just give you some hypothesis, or rather hypothetical question. Lord we say me no know who that in a cabinet right now we get dual citizenship. But Lord we say we get 90% we get, then pull them. And we know say in as much as we go into elections, the states, the government still they continue. But when you replace them in certain key areas, some ministry in there where you cannot go without a minister, inevitably. Then you when you replace there, You say, okay, I can appoint this person here. But for let you take that position there must be a parliament way for approve.
Right.
And now parliaments don't dissolve. So how do we
enforce
that?
Ministers and they right now with all other citizens?
I don't know.
Alright, we'll continue for the within the studio. In him Abdulai Bayraytay, in the presidential spokesman, and we also get Ibrahim to me, executive director, Center for Accountability and the rule of law. We continue the program and we still get Ibrahim Tommy in the studio and also Abdulai Bayraytay. Before we go, Abdulai Bayraytay will talk about the ministers that we not sure of how much they will get and waiting for happen to them. What do you feel safe for happen in this case?
Good question. Let's begin from the beginning. I mean, Mr. Bayraytay talks sometimes they talk about knowing or unknowingly. Yeah, I mean, and I remember I referred to the Australian court decision. In that same decision, the court talks two things. Because the court not able to know your state of mind, whether you know or you not even know. And because there's a possibility of want of candor, in other words, you even say what's not true, you lie about some things. Where some of them, MPs them with that decision affect, we go to court and talk, say, will not be no. The court say no. Will they disregard the whole plea that you not be no, because you not get any way for no say you not be no. Now the law is a law. So as it is now, whether the ministers have know the law or parliamentarians have know the law, I mean they in breach of the law. Let's move forward to ministers. Listen, it's made the put the blame squarely at the doorstep of the president. When you are the president, that is why you get the luxury of getting an Attorney General Minister of Justice. And this government in particular get a lot of lawyers. Whenever, I mean, the ruling party, let me put it that way, get a lot of lawyers. When there's a case where the ruling party involved, if I go see the number of lawyers where they represent. So they get a luxury of many lawyers where for don't say to the president that you cannot. And by the way, now one of the lawyers bring this up, and in the time of this Attorney General, when I own responsibility for advise the president, and the president self get the responsibility for seek advice from him, we don't see a lot of, well, not a lot of, we don't see some members of parliament at party level. Now I'm saying that who, and the president is also the chairman of the party, but also there are allegations that we get ministers we not to sing. So in other words, first the president got to take responsibility for this. The Attorney General got to take responsibility for this. In case he seek the advice and not provide them, or then provide them, ignore them, or if you no ignore them. In terms of the liability of the ministers, unfortunately, the law not clear on that. But let me talk about resignation or dismissal. Listen, there's a law. Law and morality can say different, but you also get to act with good faith. If you don't go tell your fellow Sierra Leoneans, say, you know they go parliament because you get dual citizenship. Let's be honest. You when a minister, we don't know that now. You get a responsibility first for raise your hand up and resign. Let nobody not tell you, with respect, Mr. Bayraytay, don't come here and tell the world that if 2 or 3 or 4 people resign from government in two months election, this place they collapse or they get into a ditch. No. You get what you can act. You can appoint somebody in a caretaker role. Let the president exercise the powers you get under the constitution. As to be asked, the one that will be divided for symbols, is there any minister who no say get dual citizenship and therefore not eligible? Not be even eligible in the first place, albeit that parliament don't approve them. But this is now where decency comes into it. Raise your hand. Either you resign, or the parliament, the president know, he sack you, he get a caretaker person for act. That way, we're going to say not only do this as a kind of knee-jerk thing, but you truly believe, say, first as the chairman of the ruling party and as the president of the country, you truly believe, say, nobody not for hold the position with the constitution don't say enough for hold.
What if the ministers them not resign at all? We go into elections 1 month more.
I mean, if they're not resign, they're not resign. But this is where again decency comes into it. And I really think, say, at this stage, if you are there as a minister, you really know, say, you get dual citizenship. let's be honest, it's just distasteful that you continue for serve as minister when you know in the first place you ought not to have served. And especially when now young compatriots have been excluded from contesting for parliament when you hold a position which you shouldn't have been in the first place.
Point that parliament's not for approve.
No, that's my point. I mean, we just got how many weeks to election? Don't tell me say you don't get caretaker. Person can do, you can get caretaker minister for as long as 1 year. So what stops you from getting a caretaker minister who doesn't need to be approved by parliament?
I'm glad you went in your opinion that. My opinion again, we get what you call the presumption of regularity, okay? Where it be say if I still maintain say we just suppose say we get ministers them, we get dual citizenship. But in a situation where law we say we get 50, 70, 80, 90%, we get dual citizenship. Law we say then go resign. And election a few more weeks, then the government still gets for run. Law we say they pull them, they appoint other people them. Who that they go approve?
So they just say that's political. They get the civil servants say
we don't. Belgium don't go without the government. By the Belgium don't go without the government for years.
In public administration, law will come in public administration. You they get the head. When at the administrative head in the ministry, when at the PS.
We all man don't know now for say if you get to SIM, you know for go parliament or you know for.
Well, this gets some legal implications. The legal implications are under Section 2 of the Constitution. That make maybe the AG go they listen. At the end of the day, the AG na get that thing, the writ of whatever to the High Court for go determine that.
Right.
So until that happens. Me not a lawyer, me on discipline.
What's not the president's imposition on this? What's the president? You don't inquire for no that and get dual citizenship now in cabinet.
Well, for able know that, you know, say anybody where then they appoint, where they nominate you as minister, they do a declaration. And that declaration then are under oath, it then a parliament.
The president know almost people where they serve.
When president appoints people in parliament they do the due diligence.
In this law within a cabinet, you go ask the council minister would I get the card ask the MP then for voluntarily come out and say you don't do that one day.
Well, I don't know whether presidents don't ask them would I get dual citizenship. You know why? The reason being in they nominate, where they nominate, now parliaments they go do the due diligence
so
from 19 from 19
when they appoint not honest enough for say I mean I get dual citizenship.
I will not judge them. The reason being I will not judge them. You know why? President nominates you. Parliament then gets an appointment committee. That appointment committee
the information we give to parliament. So it means the people
the appointment committee is made up of APC and SLPP in parliament. Now then they do the due diligence.
Where you give them? So you as minister, you're not honest enough.
Well, and me know the parliament.
But this is a matter of integrity. We can talk about the law all we like, but it's a question of integrity. All I'm saying is the president go able know today, if President Nkrumah want know today, the ministers them. And by the way, every minister now with government and APC, we not get any non-APC minister right now. So even at party level,
of course we have.
Who is that?
Yeah, we have some people that are not party card carriers.
Who are they?
No, I don't need to know.
But you have to make the onus is on you to say.
No. The onus is for you to.
Me no say every minister na this government na APC that I know.
That's wrong.
All right, if you get minister not to APC, go see that. But here's my point. Even if they're all not to APC,
thank you.
The president able to get the power for person and say, tell me you get dual citizenship. So today, if you want to know, you go know. And my point is that the fact that they know say they're not supposed for them did in the first place and still continue for the day, it raises serious questions about the integrity and something needs to be done about it.
We continue the program this morning. We continue for look at the dual citizenship as different people get their opinion as to whether current ministers them will all dual citizenship for resign or wait to go happy now to the one them we don't make law. But according to the two guests them, they don't make that clear. We still get Ibrahim Tommy in the studios and also Mr. Abdulai Bayraytay. Bayraytay, going through the text messages them and also on Facebook, people they insist on people having dual citizenship as cabinet ministers for Resign.
Well, I will discuss with the Attorney General that view is being trumped up while at the studio, and that way they've been the chief legal advisor to the government and His Excellency. I'm sure it will come out with a position on that, because don't forget, say we don't get a very, very respectable lawyer. We come at the studio in the person of Pamomo Fofana, where in your position that day with Francis Gabino was no breach has been done. But again, since this is a legal issue, me on small law where I study, it only stop in political science and international relations. I want left up so that where it go na court, section 92, the lawyers them, the Ibrahim Tommy's them, then we able to go help we follow we understand. I think say in way it come, and the only way that's why I will absolve myself from it so that I no give an opinion. The reason being, when this issue don't come, we don't see the court of public opinion. It's so much to the point that it creates a kind of divisiveness. Now they may agree with Ibrahim Tommy very strongly that the law in itself is discriminatory, because at the end of the day, imagine me young pikin and now where they're not even sabi talk Creole, where then they talk and they say, excuse me, what are you saying? Then because I under them born, then can come. Me don't dare, I don't suffer in this country. I don't serve as a student leader in this country. I don't come volunteer my services them in this country. At the end of the day, then qualify for go parliament, then me not go qualify.
But you also get option and then continue the day for either getting a residential permit or for go swear in allegiance, because this now like you go swear oath, and in case at the last argument we begin, there is conflict between Sierra Leone and the United States, and you sit on a parliament for take decision.
When
so
the thing that now make America, so you get list of countries then we recognize dual citizenship. In fact, like Pakistan, for instance, then list the country then we only then they recognize dual citizenship. America now we they swear the allegiance, the oath. They tell you for say you for relinquish everything and your only allegiance should be to the US. Now so then they
then people in the serve as ministers currently.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you know them. I don't know.
So
when you become categorical, it is like you know them.
I always ask you,
Yes,
what the president would think, what the president they do, what the president they think in that way is okay. Let no force the one that
you know what's in.
Or you just want
let
everything go.
One thing will come out when the president take this thing when they award the symbol. All over the country, all over the world, diplomats in this country, then call, they say, you know what? This thing has been there. We've had people like the Solomon Berewas, very senior lawyers in this country. Nobody there touched it. The fact that they remind we through public discourse, thanks to the media and people like the Francis Gabidons, they say they congratulate President Nkrumah for the bold step, for open it up, make it public. I think
it affects some people, and some people where it's supposed to affect still they benefit.
Well, one thing we may know is in the legal principle of law, they say where is the breach or violation, there is always a remedy.
All right. So, Mr. Tommy, in this case now, was it an oversight all these years that we don't get senior attorney generals, there's senior lawyers, then we don't end up being attorney general them, but we still see them pass different law them na parliament. But this one, even the constitutional review process we just done, nobody no mentioned this. Was it a deliberate oversight?
I'm not gonna know if a deliberate, but let me just say a very unfortunate oversight, because me think say where them they make the whether they amend the 1973 citizenship amendment law, 1973 citizenship law. I really think so therefore don't do so by also amending section 76(1), because then do and not make amendment to the constitution, and that make we did discuss this. But let's go back to that 2006 amendment. I think it was done in good faith. The idea now before expand rights, for make sure say plenty Salomon and then they don't left. We left during the war. We fall on hard times and fumble and bail them out. Then go now Europe, America, and other parts of the world. That act, they amend them for make sure say just because you don't go and for example for a job and other opportunities, you don't declare oath of allegiance, you don't get the second citizenship, they're not going to deprive you from citizenship of Salone. That was why they did that amendment in 2006. However, that oversight now make we discuss all of this now, and perhaps in light of that 2006 amendment, and which is why you get for pay attention to it. Pamomo Fufana don't they argue. Perhaps in light of that 2006 amendment, everybody just take and say now, oh, because Salone they recognize dual citizenship, not they will for stop or exclude Salone man from enjoying all the rights with the Constitution confer on a citizen. But I still think say the text of that law of section 76(1) needs to be amended.
Alright, continue for the between at the studios. We're going to for the short break. Ahmed, I like this music. I like the part where you say the truth when I try for her long time ago. Don't come on, I do.
So and I think say people don't go want for lady one the way they serve right now, especially minister and deputy ministers, and come out and just say maybe if you know one for resign, yeah. Now 1 month so left.
Alright, when we continue with the program and we go to other issue quickly, then we come back to plenty messages and concerns them Una don't send inside the program.
We will look at message them way Una don't send inside the program, and the first one we will look at they say the dual citizenship is not the making of questions to what's the 1991 constitution. If it's clear that any person who has 2 passports should not be eligible to stand as MP. Let's stop the cheap political propaganda.
This one a message say AG is looking more and more incompetent.
The Susim business don't come with Dumbulu, but Salone now for Salone man.
More message we don't come inside the program. Good morning, Salone. This morning he say thank you very much, Leader Democracy, for bringing these 2 gentlemen in the studios. My take on this issue is the ones with two SIM cards serving as ministers should resign or President relieve them of their duties.
My submission to the Dual Citizenship Act is that it must be an entrenched clause in our constitution. We all know what happened in January 6, 1999. All politicians who were dual citizens left the country within 48 hours. The same politicians were absolutely corrupt, causing all problems leading to the Rebel War in 1991, subsequently leading to January 6 onslaughts on Freetown.
Did the government take into consideration about dual citizenship before opening diaspora office from Apple?
Dual citizenship should not be enforced at this critical time of elections because previously many have contested with dual citizen status from Sulaiman and Congo Bridge.
How can the government have people in position, Attorney General for more than 10 years and holding presidential, parliamentary and by-elections, but cannot advise the government all this while? A case of putting square pegs in round holes, what a shame and waste of the country's resources. Please be sincere with this issue. The APC has already instituted a law by denying symbols to candidates with dual citizenship. So all sitting ministers with dual citizenship are now aware of the law. Let the law be implemented, period. Let the president summon an emergency cabinet meeting and determine who is to sing or not, and all of this will be in over 2 hours.
No unqualified dual citizen MP should be paid end of service benefits.
Say good morning, please. I want to know if SIM holders would be allowed to vote in any election since they are not to be voted for.
More messages we look at inside the program. This one say this is a big lesson to the one them upline. All man one come free tongue and all man one give them picking to the various fumble for men. This is about the alleged rape story we will just hear in the come from Yankee na Bayraytay compound in Freetown.
Mr. Ibrahim told me I continue to admire you. You are one of those who always make my day whenever you are leading democracy. Thank you for telling the president he is wrong and he should admit that he is wrong and continue to be wrong until he removed all 2 ministers from his cabinet.
Radio D, if not so all the radio station them na salon, they work like how na they work, but who all for the open. You have made my day. Keep it up from Amadou.
Please tell Bayraytay say ignorance of the law is no excuse. Besides, the law is the law. The current dual citizens, ministers and deputies should resign or sacked if we fail to. A source for the goods should also be source for the gander from political bar.
This one say the salon has lost integrity long time ago. From the highest to the lowest, we are all not true to ourselves and the country. Abdulai just say the truth for once. I know you have fallback position in case you are relieved of your position for speaking the truth. Don't tell me you or the president have no idea which minister has dual citizenship.
Radio D, the government is to be blamed. The Constitutional Review Committee should have addressed these issues. Instead, all they wanted was more time and supreme executive powers. Now the fufu don't boku pass the soup. Or hinder and send a message.
Wilfred Jocelyn Williams on Facebook, they say Sierra Leone is for Sierra Leoneans, no mixed feeling. Please let us all endeavor to abide.
He say JFK has really let the APC government down. He advised them wrongly on the ECOWAS case and has now brought Dombolo on the APC government by failing to advise President Kuruma on his choice of ministers.
David Awana on Facebook, they say many issues can come up like this, but when those in power knew the weight of it, they threw it in the dustbin. I hope and believe this time it will not be like the past.
Look, this is the problem caused by President Kuruma because all of this was done to satisfy him. Imagine many people become ministers and deputies who had nothing to show as qualification during parliamentary approval committee meetings. They could not even provide information they had purported to have, but were approved by the past vote in parliament. What a shame. It's a matter of integrity, really. Alex
on Facebook say, I believe those vying for positions of this country should be preview to our laws. You can't be vying for MP position without knowing the law of the land.
In my honest opinion, the current ministers with dual citizenship should resign or be sacked, because occupying those posts is legally and morally wrong. This is a test of our democracy, otherwise it's going to appear that it's a witch hunt. But the EBK administration has raped the constitution so many times in the last 10 years they wouldn't care to do it again for the next few weeks.
On the rape issue, Ishmael Alfred Morgan edited Charles on Facebook, they say the police should know that in short cases, the first thing they should do is to get the perpetrator in their custody before allowing the alarm. The matter at which the officer was comfortable is worrying, and I'm sure if it was our own daughter, she would have done better.
Shame I can't be president, I have dual nationality. This law has to change in the next parliament. From Ayo Johnson.
One more message I will look at, and this say the issue of dual citizenship should not be a debate. It's the law and we need to respect it. If an action is taken against members of parliament, so should it be from cabinet ministers. If otherwise, then the government is in total arbitration. But this cookie not going to reach and send that message.
Few more message. You say the area we need for be clear is the two things them where they act if they're unlawful or criminal. If a criminal, if they're for reform, if they're criminal and they pay, are they eligible for future appointment? This other message say how can the Attorney General remove that law when he himself is an American citizen? This other one say Mr. Bayraytay, please confirm whether your presidential nominee, that's Dr. Samar Kamara, and his running mate, Honorable Majuba, are all citizens. I understand Dr. Samar Kamara is a citizen from Britain, and Mr. Bar from Guinea. This other one says, say Tommy, my Tommy, I always admire you, thank you very much. You need to be advising this government on law. This one say, what is the position of current serving ministers in government? And the last one, I will read, say, no wonder Ibrahim got distinction in all of his academic life. Thank you very much for educating us this morning. Alright, that's now plenty concerning text messages. Then I'll start with you, Bayraytay. We'll go summarize or pick on one in the first.
I will confirm, say, Dr. Samora, in only nationality is that of being a Sierra Leonean. And in fact, even when he been there in England, during the trying times of this country, he left for can help this country in your right as a Sierra Leonean. And that make the IMF and the World Bank be even send him for can get things straight in the finance ministry. Then, as he say, the AG people in the American nationality, you know, sometimes when people they make statements, they don't get facts. The AG people in the question incompetence. But one thing why I can vouch, it not just be an AG overnight. When they talk about serious lawyers in this country, people and we know the law, he is one. Imagine in time that the special court of this country where they establish. But as you know, modesty sometimes can pay. Then somebody they talk about the president or he don't rape the constitution. These are political insinuations. There has never been a situation where anybody go point say beyond the political mantra for say the president don't abuse the constitution. If for anything, one credit way then go give him is as part of we democracy, even when it take an action, then challenge the action, then subject him to the Supreme Court. It subject itself and go argue. You know, with democracy, I can say in political science as a fledgling one. But that don't mean say we are off the brink.
If we forget,
so now that make you see say
we can Mr. Bayraytay. I mean start we leave resign in the order of the
you know what Dande, as I say, I will make sure say I bring them to the attention of the Attorney General. If they know they listen, I will make sure say I remind them because of the provision, the constitutional provisions within our 1991 constitution. So now that make me always they go with the philosophy say popular wrong insinuations not ever mean say the thing correct until it is proven in the High Court. Now that make us I go absolve myself of that until we kick in Section 92, where of course Ibrahim told me they're all able attach legal interpretation to.
So una will going forward, una go attempt for no like because una they going to election possibility say APC go win. But una appoint people again we get dual citizenship. Una go one for no the one the way they serve right now. We all the people they point fingers, people they call names the way of people and we they serve right now we dual citizenship.
I think say me and Ibrahim they're on the same page on that. Which means moving forward, the law we don't establish.
We talk about the law, but the law not change until that end.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, for change that law day, now the next parliament, I just asked Tommy Gigis now. Now the next parliament get that mandate. The law is still there. Now that make you find out, say, even when they come with the Dual Citizenship Act of 2006, it challenged the Citizens Act of 1973, we say, you know they get dual citizenship.
But
so
that 2006 you just repeal that one day.
And not repeal it. No, not only the dual citizenship, we give you the right as a Sierra Leonean for let you get dual citizenship. Right. And I bank that argument based on the very, very eloquent presentation where Pamomo Fofana be making the studio.
Right. Tommy, there's so many messages.
Yes, plenty thank you to all my way send messages. You know, now we really separate some things then. Lord, remember I said in the last 10 years, we don't get, I think, 3 AGs, and some of the things that they talk about, especially with respect to ministers, not to the current AG, no more advice. So they always done the, and if while Mr. Joseph Kamara done day in office, we don't get ministers then, we get to SIM as they call them now, then it get some of the it get the blame I say some of the blame perhaps because they advise the president ignore advice. But the president really, again, I go back to this point. It is his job for nominate. And before you nominate, the onus is on you to inquire into all of these legal issues. If there's any doubt, your job is to ask the AG to advise. Now, if all of that not happen, it is his fault. Let's go back to the issue. Now that the ministers and self, assuming any one day when no say get to sim, we'll have this conversation. My God, how much you get for really lose between now and the end of February? Just raise your hand, resign, and you walk with your head high, with respect. But for continue for doing that office, so you know, say in the first place you ought not to have been there. It's so disrespectful of the citizens of this country, especially where they pay tax for pay salaries and run the office where they hold or where you hold. Somebody really asked a question that MPs them will not be supposed to, or even they as MPs forget end of service benefit. It's a very interesting question because Section 94 today say if they make any laws, decisions, blah blah blah, any court not for inquiring to. But I also know say at common law, you know, for benefit from your own illegality. In other words, if you participate in anything way illegal, knowingly or you get reason for no, only so you could benefit from something. I don't think so. So it's a question of when the common law and I assume say the constitution clear them. When there's a clash, the constitution rules. But me think say, and the question of really integrity is so bad for let you know say you get to see enough for big parliament, you can be parliament. So but maybe
why if you see now people they want for either one day because I remember the last day last night we interview another presidential candidate now. Where I say stuff will lie like you don't look at a bad thing now. Too many people in the platform.
Of course, because it excludes you, it make you ineligible for hold the office where they aspire to. It's as simple as that. How many man want be MP or minister or president? So right now as this, and by the way, as I said in one of the interviews I gave now, this is not even an entrenched clause in our constitution. It could have been amended by simple majority in parliament. So then are the thing that one.
Let me talk about people who come up to look at the other points before.
Don't come. I don't know if I may get. This one say good morning 98. I think Mr. Bayraytay is being less than forthcoming in such is not honest. If President Nkrumah genuinely wanted to be fair to the diasporans, he should also get rid of those ministers who dual citizenship. Disgracefully, these are the same ministers who went about disqualifying others for staying. President Nkrumah once said that the diaspora are not his constituents. We now know this has damaged the party's relationship with the diaspora.
This one said has so far fallen short of a convincing explanation on the position of ministers with dual citizenship becomes across with dishonesty and reservation.
Is Bayraytay saying that because Parliament is closed, HE for continue for do the wrong thing by keeping them in office, the ministers therefore resign and go sort out the paper and the ministry be under civil servants?
Another message you will look at Mr. Tommy recovery from those who were paid as ministers or MPs when they were not entitled is through the law of restitution. Mr. Bayraytay, the special court is not where one displays knowledge of law, especially English law.
Since all the appointments went through Parliament, what was the opposition MPs doing in Parliament?
Good morning 98.1. Please, we want you to investigate the issue at constituency 1, 2, 3, the NGC symbol and the executive.
Talk and go, talk and come. Please, NGC, make public their presidential candidates the announcement certificates.
Mr. Bayraytay, if the law is to be implemented, you also for resign and also half of what you have been benefiting, including further services withdraw from Jibril Nalunge.
Yes, Mr. Bayraytay agreed that when the Attorney General was on special court and also the ECC, he was a fantastic lawyer, but ever since he became politician, not other thing.
This one says spokesman, now the people then wire we no Lex Salon.
And this other message said, thank you, Tommy, thank you, thank you.
Alright, from the message just so we cover to get for comments quickly because we're almost one hour of time.
Thank you. Very briefly, I love Sierra Leone. I came back Salon 2008. I work now foreign affairs, and not to government even be the payment. Now, I was in New York because I tell them, say, you know what, I can't serve my country. And besides, the love what I get for my country, not to today begin. Me don't serve as Secretary General National Union of Sierra Leone Students in this country when things were tough. I was in the forefront. I put my life for restore the democracy. But this debate is not about Abdulai Bayraytay. And it is not to come and convince anybody. It is to come and discuss waiting at the issues where they in section 76, 1A, will not affect me. So I know will give credence to that possibility for resign because me not a parliamentarian, me not a minister. So then they not even applicable. Then the other thing what I want to say is we don't make a very clear say in section 92. Now there is an issue for say eligibility for let you know and grounds for no. Now they the Attorney General they able come and go to High Court and whatever. So amigo old word inside until if you know they listen.
Government will come back on this.
Well, me go inform the AG as the principal legal advice to the government.
So there's a possibility the AG will take the matter to court.
Well, I don't.
Or give fiat to citizens that to me say, or let them take the matter to court.
Well, this is an opportunity why we don't brief them. They go make sure say engage whosoever I get for engage. Right. But the bottom line here is this not so for let we can convince say now waiting then at the constitution.
So at the presidential level, no position president not take it concerning the one way they serve right now, where the law affects.
The only thing where I know say now the congratulatory message where they give president because for
president,
from 1996
the position of the presidency in terms on this issue, not to order congratulate them, we're not the position of the presidency on the one them where they serve right now.
I just told you that
Therefore,
I'm going to flag it with the Attorney General.
So the presidency not take position it.
Government
not take position.
AG is going to be informed.
All right. Okay, quickly, Tony.
Yes, I'm just three quick points I'm going to make. Speaking for myself, I think say not to good law. Law will amend them for make sure say perhaps only the office of the president now you know get proceed to our citizenship for vote. But ministers, I mean, look at Liberia now. More than half of the senators or MPs and get dual citizenship. That not make the country in flames. So me think say a discriminatory and we for try for embrace everybody, especially at those levels. Again, ministers are with they in government now, or if any minister they right now will get dual citizenship are big. They just don't tell you computers and say they can't go to parliament because the current law no make them eligible when I resign, or make the president who again as I have said now at the process where I put this blame had endorsed it and the Attorney General for share this blame from going back to the last 10 years for where they even appoint people if any would get dual citizenship. And finally, if there are any doubts, you know, somebody asked question whether Dr. Samar Kamara na British citizen, whether NGC presidential candidate Kanem Kalana American citizen.
No, they don't say
they don't renounce them. So all the point I'm making is this is a public interest issue right now. And although it likely say the American embassy now, the British Commission now will say we're not going to comment on somebody individual in citizenship status, but because now a public interest issue, I really think say therefore come out and help so that we clear about. Yeah, I really think so. I mean, I think so a further democracy, very respected a broadcaster, right, for information.
We don't accept it only. With the SLP flag
then gets the privacy.
No. The thing is, if you apply for visa, let me tell you, on visa adjudication issues, you're not going to discuss the outcome of individual visa applicants. But if you talk, say, for example, if Ahmed now a citizen of US or UK, is a question you have not asked. I do not know for a fact that they'll disclose that, but I really think, say, if we not ask, they might be willing for comment on that because
So why not put
the bilateral relationship between Sierra Leone and UK and US for go just beyond all of these things. They also get a responsibility for make sure say laws and are respected.
Get some political background, something you know.
I agree. I so tell them not go one for, but me think say we for still try.
So why will not put on the candidates them?
And the
come out
party
and the party them for come
So
out.
NGC don't say we are not. There was a question about Samora Cameron, a British citizen, Mr. Bayraytay, who I have no reason to doubt, say he's not a British citizen. My point is, if questions like that keep coming up, make we just maybe defer to the embassies or high commission where they are and ask. If they don't provide, there's nothing wrong in asking or in trying to know from them.
Right. So thank you in Ibrahim, in the Executive Director for Center for Accountability and the Rule of Law, and also Abdulai, the President and spokesman for our general program this morning. Also, we're in the program Good Morning Salon for today.